Sreekumar ji, Srimati Shyamala Bhaskar ji, Shri Kotakkal Jayan ji, Shri Pranav Sreekumar ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Principal Ma'am and Associate Dean, faculty members, dear students and lovers of Indian art and culture. A very special and heartfelt welcome to our revered artists who have graciously joined us today to share the beauty and grace of Mohiniyattam. We are honored by your presence. Before we dive into the core of today's program, I would like to share a bit of a context regarding SPIC MACAY. SPIC MACAY, that is Society for the Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture amongst Youth. SPIC MACAY is a non-political nationwide voluntary movement founded in 1977 by Dr. Kiran Seth, Professor Emeritus at IIT Delhi, who was awarded the Padma Shri for his contribution to the arts in the year 2009. SPIC MACAY is dedicated to increasing awareness about different aspects of Indian culture and heritage amongst the youth. With a glorious journey spanning 4 decades, SPIC MACAY has exposed thousands of students to various forms of Indian classical music, dance, folk art, craft and folk theatre in schools, colleges and professional institutions. Every year, SPIC MACAY arranges more than 5,000 programs in more than 1,500 institutions across almost 1,000 cities, touching over 3 million students. I now request all our esteemed guests along with all our dignitaries for a lamp lighting ceremony. Today, we are deeply honored to host Srimati Vijayalakshmi ji. Vijayalakshmi ji is a world-renowned Indian classical dancer and acclaimed exponent of Mohiniyattam, the graceful classical dance form from South India. She is also a choreographer, speaker, feminist, actress, writer, and a singer. daughter and discipline of Padma Shri Bharti Shivaji, a recipient of several prestigious awards including Central Sangeet Natak Academy. Vijayalakshmi ji has performed at some of the most prestigious venues in India and around the globe, spanning over 30 countries, sponsored by the Government of India, including the Bolshoi Theatre, the Edinburgh International Festival, and the Lincoln Center. She is celebrated for her graceful luster, powerful abhinay, lifelong dedication to preserving and propagating this classical dance form across the globe. She is accompanied by an exceptional team of accomplished artists. Shri Kalamandalam Sreekumar ji, who is a distinguished vocalist, along with Srimati Shyamala Bhaskar ji, who is an experienced multimedia, accompanied by Shri Kotakkal Jayan ji, who is a renowned Natak maestro, and Shri Pranav Sreekumar ji, who is a talented musician of the younger generation. Let us welcome all the artists with a big round of applause. Before we start, I would like to share a few insights into the grace of Mohiniyattam. Mohiniyattam, the classical dance of Kerala, derives its name from Mohini, the divine enchantress. It is a dance of grace, femininity, and gentle movements characterized by swaying rhythms, expressive eyes, and elegant storytelling. Rooted in devotion and emotion, Mohiniyattam reflects the serenity of Kerala's backwaters and the depth of Indian aesthetics. Today, we are fortunate to witness this living tradition on our campus. I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, to kindly come onto the stage to felicitate our esteemed guests. I now request Ms. Vijayalakshmi ji to kindly come onto the stage. I now request Shri Kalamandalam Sreekumar ji to kindly step forward. I now request Srimati Shyamala Bhaskar ji to kindly come on the stage. I now request Shri Kotakkal Jayan ji to kindly step forward. I now request Shri Pranav Sreekumar ji to kindly join us. Thank you, respected dignitaries. The moment we all have been waiting for has finally arrived. I now invite Srimati Vijayalakshmi ji and her team to take the stage and immerse us in the diverse beauty of Mohiniyattam. Let us welcome them with a big round of applause.
afternoon, dear teachers, dear students, SPIC MACAY volunteers, and friends. It's wonderful to be here today at the Sushant University to present a lecture demonstration on Mohiniyattam, which is the classical dance form of Kerala. As the very name implies, Mohiniyattam translates into Mohini, the divine enchantress, and Attam meaning dance. So the dance literally means the dance of the divine enchantress. And because the dance form is very rooted in the divine feminine, therefore the predominant mood of the dance form is that of Shringara, which translates into beauty or love. And because the predominant mood is that of Shringara, the characteristic movements of this dance form are very graceful, very languid, very deliberate and slow, and where the lower half of the body is very strong, is very grounded, and the upper half of the body remains very flexible, very graceful, and very languorous. And the dance form also is very deeply rooted in two of the major art forms of Kerala. For technique, it is Kalaripayattu, the ancient martial art form of Kerala. So you will see in the technique a lot of similarity between the technique of Mohiniyattam and a lot of resonance with the martial art form of Kerala. And beyond that, you will also see the technique to be very reminiscent of the ancient Chinese martial art forms of Tai Chi and Qigong. And therefore, the dance form is, I'm very happy to share that because I've worked with some healers, and it reaffirmed what my mother and my guru Bharati Shivaji and I always believed, that this dance form is very healing, therapeutic, and empowering for women. Why? Because it's very reminiscent of Tai Chi and Qigong. So the slow movements of the dance form, coupled with very elaborate usage of hand movements known as mudras, enables women in particular to release stress from their bodies and mind and release suppressed emotions, and therefore enjoy overall health and well-being. So I'm going to begin with an invocatory item called Cholkatta, where you'll see some of the graceful characteristic movements of the dance form.
Mama
You just had a glimpse of some of the characteristic, graceful movements of Mohiniyattam, and you must have observed I hope you observed the typical circular movements of Mohiniyattam. You must be familiar with the many other Indian dance forms like Bharatanatyam and Kathak in the north. People are more familiar with Kathak, right? Where you see there's a lot of footwork in Kathak. But in a dance form like this, it's not about the footwork because in this dance form, the entire body is involved from head to toe. So we don't focus on the feet as much as the entire body in delineating a movement, and where the movements emanate from the center of the body, from the solar plexus. And the Mohiniyattam as a dance form is one of the most richest Indian classical dance forms, because other than the technique where the movements are very rich, involving the entire body, another very significant part of the dance form is the elaborate usage of hand gestures known as mudras. And with these mudras, with the help of these mudras and very elaborate facial expression, we describe different episodes, different stories, and all of the storytelling is done. Here I want to just go into a little description of nature, Udyana Varnan, where you will see a combination of facial expression, very elaborate usage of eye movements. Mohiniyattam has the richest usage of eye movements and richest perhaps abhinaya amongst all the Indian classical dance forms. Why? Because Mohiniyattam is from Kerala. Kerala is the land of dance drama traditions, ancient dance drama traditions that go back more than 1,000 years old. So naturally all that abhinaya has influenced Mohiniyattam as well. And in terms of technique, it's the martial art form of Kalaripaita. So it's rich in both technique and abhinay. So now there's going to be a little brief description of nature, and which describes a huge garden which has a lot of trees, then there are beautiful blue sky. Students to tell me what they saw. Can you tell me what I described? Can you hear me? I'd like the students to tell me what they saw. It's that time of the day when it's a very drowsy part of the day, right? So I want everyone to tell me. You can raise your hands and tell me what you saw, or you don't have to raise your hands. What did you see in the nature description? Yeah, you don't have to raise your hands, yeah. Yes?
You depicted the flowers, the
Yes.
birds,
Yes.
and a beautiful sky.
Yes, very good. The beautiful sky. It was very good, excellent. Round of applause for that. So the skies, right? Look, I'm just going to quickly show you with the mudras what she said, and then I want to hear what you saw. You saw the sky, you saw the cuckoo. The cuckoo, I heard a beautiful singing, and I discovered that it's the cuckoo singing so beautifully and filling my ears with beautiful music of the cuckoo. And then
I could see
Bhavra, yes, I'm so glad.
peacock.
Yes, absolutely. Bhavra, you saw the bee, then you saw
Perhaps an elephant.
the peacock. Peacock is very distinct, right? So I don't think anybody can miss the peacock, right? Unless somebody lives in a country who's not seen the peacock at all, then it might be difficult to relate. So peacock, and then
Elephant.
elephant. Again, elephant is so distinct. You really can't go wrong with it. Yes, that was very good, excellent. So you saw that there was elaborate body movement, of course, but also very elaborate eye movements. Eye movements are used very majorly, very significantly, very prominently, and very elaborately in this dance form, from among all the other Indian classical dance forms. And you saw also facial expression. Elephant is very majestic, so you have Veerras, right? Elephant is always associated with valor, Veerras. So the Veerras is always there. And so the facial expression with the requisite emotion, the requisite Navarasa to depict that particular either person or situation or description or scene or animal. So now we will go on to conclude with a very fun item, very simple piece called Bandatam. Here the friend beckons her, the heroine beckons her friend to join her in the game of ball. She says, "Come, why are you so sad? Why? After all, life is full of ups and downs. Such is life. So please forget about all your worries and come, my beautiful lotus-eyed friend. Come, let's play a game of ball."
Yeah.
wonderful volunteers who work so hard. Dr. Kiran Seth's vision and mission that we set up with in 1977 way back. How amazing of a human being he is, what an amazing Indian he is. We all need to be proud of our culture, our heritage, and not just pay lip service to it. Bharatiya Sanskriti, Sabhyata, बोलने में तो बहुत अच्छा है, मगर implementation and action is equally necessary. Otherwise, they're only empty words and they mean nothing. I can say one thing, as somebody who has performed all over the world, I feel so blessed to have started performing around the world from the age of 14 with my mother and Guru, Bharati Shivaji. I can say one thing, that people all over the world, especially in the West, they value our traditions so much. They value our classical traditions, whether it's yoga or classical dance or music or our spiritual traditions, which is one of the most, not just richest, but most deepest and most timeless spiritual traditions. Just like our art forms. Our art forms are very ancient, but the most incredible and the most significant aspect of these traditions is that they are timeless and that they are equally relevant to our present day lives. They are not frozen in time. They are extremely relevant. If anything, they are more relevant to us than ever in the history of mankind. Why? Because they enable us to connect with our deepest inner selves. In this world of social media, I will try and not slam it too much. I also use it. It is a necessary evil. But everything in this world takes us away from us. It's always about other people, what others are wearing, where they vacation, what they ate, what they are doing, how they are feeling. Everything that takes us away from us. So these exquisite jewels and gems that we have in our heritage are a very powerful means of reminding us of and enabling us to connect with our inner selves. Because finally, the most important person in our life is us, not the other person. So I want to leave you with that thought, and I would love to hear some questions from students, if they have any. Q&A. Anybody wants to ask me anything, please feel free.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, hi.
I want to ask you about that symbol.
Huh?
What does the symbol signify?
Which symbol?
SPIC MACAY.
Oh, the poster.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's very fascinating and very different.
Yes, that's a very interesting question. Nobody has ever asked that question, so I applaud you for asking such a unique question. And we should never be afraid to ask questions. I think in our Indian culture, we are always, at least in my generation, we were never encouraged to ask questions. We were always so afraid. So I always say the opposite to my students. Please ask me any question, however absurd it might seem. No question is absurd. So, to answer that, let me use my, from what I understand is perhaps it's the human eye, and perhaps it's a very beautiful, very powerful motif, I would say, of creating awareness amongst the youth about the power of our Indian heritage and Indian art and Indian culture, and to awaken children, to awaken the Indian youth to their own heritage, because the symbol is of an eye. So you always associate with waking up, with awakening, right? So perhaps
Somehow connected with your makeup or like with your costume?
no, certainly not. This is a very general emblem of SPIC MACAY, which applies to every. It's an emblem of SPIC MACAY, not of the dance form that I do. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's so nice to have you.
It's my pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Anybody else would like to ask me? The faculty are welcome to ask me anything.
What is the
the difference between Bharatnatyam and Mohiniyattam as far as the dance forms are concerned? Can you just compare the two?
Yeah, that is a really good question. Okay, so Bharatanatyam, because I was a trained Bharatanatyam dancer for 15 years. So Bharatanatyam you would have seen is more angular. The movements are easier to demonstrate. So it's like this. Bharatanatyam, this you're familiar, everybody is familiar? Mohiniyattam is circular movements. You see, everything is swaying and circular, and the entire body is involved. It's very demanding, Mohiniyattam. It looks very graceful and very sweet, but it needs a strong body. But conversely, regular practice of this dance form also enables you to have a strong body. Anything else? Anybody would like to ask me? Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
It was really an honor to witness you here. I had a question in my mind. Is there any other particular kind of music which is accompanied by this art, or does we use only this kind of music?
Okay, I love your question. Very lovely question. And it's very perfect for me because my USP is dancing Mohiniyattam to very different forms of music, different forms of multicultural music. I've done productions inspired from Bengal Durga Puja traditions, Bengal spiritual traditions, Durga Puja traditions. Then I have created about 20 years ago an entire production that was danced in the Mohiniyattam style, but to Western classical music. Have you heard of Tchaikovsky, the great Russian composer? You must have heard of a ballet called Swan Lake. It's the world's most famous ballet. He had composed music for Swan Lake, so I created an entire production in Mohiniyattam where we were 25 dancers, where we danced only to Tchaikovsky's music and were invited to present it at the Bolshoi Theatre in Moscow. So again, what does it say about Mohiniyattam as a dance form? It's a testament to how infinite its potential is. It can be danced to Kerala music, traditional music. It can be danced to Bengali spiritual traditions, to Tagore. I love Tagore. I've done a lot of Tagore. I've danced to, recently, my most recent production was to Middle Eastern music, sacred Middle Eastern music with the oud and the Middle Eastern percussions in Los Angeles. Western classical music, Western opera. So it can be danced to, that's a testament to its phenomenal potential.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. So tradition does not mean stagnation. Tradition doesn't mean, tradition like anything else in life is always dynamic. And the beauty and the power of our classical traditions is that it is so versatile, especially a dance form like Mohiniyattam. It can lend itself with equal ease to both tradition and multicultural, multinational forms of music and culture. That's it. Anybody else?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
I would like to ask, what is the origin or the historical background of this dance form?
It's a lovely question. Like I said, the dance form owes its origin and evolution to the concept of Mohini. जब विष्णु ने मोहिनी का रूप धारण किया था, where you have so many episodes of Bhasmasura Mohini, and why did Vishnu take the form of Mohini? To lure demons to their own annihilation. But a more significant, deeper meaning of that is Vishnu transformed nobody less than Vishnu. He transformed himself into Mohini to lure people from lust to higher consciousness. The spiritual significance of this dance form is perhaps the most significant aspect of this dance form. It's not only about looking beautiful and swaying, it's much more than that. It is to elevate consciousness. Because it's Vishnu. Vishnu is not an ordinary person. above everything. So if Vishnu transforms into, so that is the origin of this dance form, and it was practiced as part of the Devadasi tradition in Kerala for several hundreds of centuries, and is as timeless as many of the other major Indian classical dance forms.
Was it performed in temples?
Yes, it was. Yes, I had just said that it was practiced by the Devadasis in the temples of Kerala, known as Dasiyattam. So that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of Sushant University, I extend my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to SPIC MACAY, entire team, and especially to Vijayalakshmi ma'am for such mesmerizing performance which we have witnessed right now. First and foremost, my heartfelt thanks to SPIC MACAY for that we have experienced the Indian culture today, especially the audience we have. Along with that, I also thanks our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Jyoti Sinha ma'am, that because of her we have witnessed this. The entire team of the volunteers of SPIC MACAY, and yes, of course, the great audience we have. Thank you so much for attending this event. Thank you so much.